I guess we got to do this because a lot of people are relying on, and I'm just going to say it. Shout out to Mr. Kevin Samuels. Shout out to High Value. I'm cool with him. And that's the preface of this video. So, any of you who try to push this video or thumbs down this video to the point where it gets, actually thumbs down the video if you are that obsessed with saving Kevin Samuels at all costs. Because, quite frankly, yeah, okay, cool. He's entertaining. I get it. He's doing something that a lot of people don't have the balls to do. I get it. That's fine. But my issue isn't even with Kevin Samuels and what he does. What he does is honestly, and I hate to say it, a lot of you all think that he's doing something that deserves a title of a saint. Or some of you are thinking that, oh my goodness, he's selling uncouth women to men. He's throwing them in the crossfire. He's trying to set them up to get great and all. No. He's running a business. And he's running it well. Especially with the way he moves, with the lack of beefs, with, hell, in some cases, the lack of interaction, particularly with some individuals who didn't care for him before. He knows the people who rocked with him, or at the very least supported him, or at the very least didn't get in his way. He knows those people, and he knows those who had some slick crap to say about him. And as we're seeing right now, he is giving thanks and kudos to those who have helped him along the way. For the rest of you out there, for the rest of us out there, who are just bricks in the wall in comparison to Kevin Samuels, don't rely on Kevin Samuels to check your women. Don't rely on Kevin Samuels to get your women back in line. And here's the rare kicker in the nuts. Don't think that Kevin Samuels will solely get your women to choose you as select alpha males. That is what a lot of this is all about. It's funny that, yes, the majority of his callers and the people who are triggered by him are women, but he's funded by the men. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you know the reason why he's funded by the men. It's because that, not all, especially not the high rollers. Shout out to Ike. I don't know how to say his last name, but he knows who, everyone knows who Ike is. If I drop something in your YouTube chat or your Cash App, it means you're doing something right. So shout out to those who get the big bucks from Ike. But for a lot of other guys out there, the reason why they support him isn't just because he's entertaining, but they think that he is literally the sole level 95 legendary Pokemon who is going to single-handedly take them through the Pokemon League, defeat the Big Four, Final Four, and defeat the Pokemon Master, which in this case is feminism, the gynocracy, the mainstream media, and whomever else. And that Pokemon Master symbolically represents the women who dissed them, reject them, treated them like crap, undeservedly, by the way. That's where my sympathy comes. But that my sympathy ends at the point where you think he is single-handedly going to solve your female issues. Well, I hate to tell you this. Kevin Samuels is not your saint. Now, I might just put that in the title just to get attention. But Kevin Samuels is not your sole saint. First of all, you shouldn't be relying on a sole person in order to solve your problems, even if you don't want to solve them yourself. Strategically, it would be best if you disperse your options amongst multiple people to speak up on your behalf so that you can get, at the very least, if you're sticking on the Pokemon theme, 6 individuals who can speak up on your behalf and 6 individuals who can trend to the point of going mainstream and being mentioned by mainstream entities. And yes, the mainstream media is against him for that particular reason. They don't want his message to go out. And quite frankly, I don't blame them, because the mainstream media in 2021, or for the past few decades, as a matter of fact, not just 2021, but probably as long as I've been alive, definitely, they get off, or at the very least, profit off of men and women fighting each other. And what Kevin Samuels is doing is the antithesis of the silly nonsense that we've seen throughout the past few decades in regards of a gender war. That's not good for business, at least mainstream business. Now it's good for his business. And if he plays it smart, and if the people who support him really play it smart, then there can be an industry based on unifying the genders. There could be literally a multi-million-dollar industry where multiple people, and I mean dozens at the very least, can benefit off of unifying people, off of, dare I say, bringing them to the negotiating table. Oh wait, he already is doing that. Okay. Well, it seems like they seems like the sisters wanted it. They just wanted it with a different guy, I guess. But nonetheless, everyone else who's riding his coattails, well, we know why the grifters are doing it. I'm not going to trust them. But for everyone else who literally thinks that Kevin Samuels is going to solve their female issues, you got to nut up. You got to nut up and, quite frankly, solve your own issues. Because that is the mark of a man. That is what separates the men from the boys. And that, more than anything else, is what gets the women, well, respect. And possibly their money too. And, something else. You know what I mean. But, yeah, I gotta say it like this. You guys gotta nut up. Do the work. Just do the work. I don't care who came up with the term, but do the damn work. And putting your women in check. And I don't mean checking them in the way that a lot of you desire to check them. I'm not going to even mention what. But if you want your woman to submit or cooperate so bad, and if you feel that they're that out of line, then you got to do the damn work yourself. Put them in check. And no, as I said, not the way that you want them to, nor even the way that you have been doing for decades on end, which is basically going down to the women's level and say, man, you ain't, and you baby daddy, you baby mama, and you can't take care of your kids, you abort your kids, and you keep step out the house and sleep with that night. You keep the rules, zipping pookie. No. People tried that. And at best, it's been entertaining. It's gotten super chats and cash apps, but we see what is now working. It's not going down to their level and doing a roast for roast, or in some cases, yeah, you got some guys who try to intellectualize the woman to come to the table, but let's be honest. You have to be a certain caliber kind of guy, have a certain kind of presentation, a certain kind of image, and a certain kind of reputation. Now, Kevin Samuels is Mr. Image, I'm Mr. Reputation. So, don't steal that. Any of you steal that, I'm coming for you. I'm taking these glasses off and I'm coming for you. Freaking, like Booker T did towards Hulk Hogan. So, but yeah, look, you gotta put these women in check the way Kevin Samuels is, and that is using intellect, style, grace, class, stats, and facts. And yeah, you may have to look presentable. You may have to take off the Jordans. Yeah, you believe it or not, you may have to take off the Jordans. You may have to tone down the hood swag. Don't get me started. Look, you can't look as if you're a stereotype. I'm just saying. You can't. You may have to drop down the NBA 2K t-shirts. You may have to take off the superhero t-shirt. You may have to be presentable. And I know a lot of guys don't want to hear that, but that's what's working for Kevin. And no, you'll have to wear a suit and freaking have things from the sharper image behind the screen and drink Red Bull out of a glass wine jar. No. I see any of you guys do that, I'm definitely coming for you. Nonetheless, if you want to check these women, if you think that these women are worth checking, then fine. Take the blueprint that Kevin Samuels did and put your own spin on it. And no, as I said, roasting them isn't going to do it. Begging for them isn't going to do them. Whining damn sure isn't going to do it. And negotiating when you have nothing to negotiate, even on a superficial level, isn't going to do it. Now, the second way how you guys need to nut up is this. And this is the hard part, but this is the part where I specialize. You gotta walk away. You gotta put one foot in front of the other foot. Take that first step, second step, third step, No, not two-step. Don't do the two-step. Don't do that shuck and jive two-step crap. You got to put one foot in front of the other, and then you got to walk. And by walking, I mean you got to walk away and not look back. You got to capitalize on going to greener pastures. You got to make your own manifest destiny. And that's what a lot of these guys are afraid of doing. I can sense it. Why is it that Kevin Samuels has garnered so many fanboys? And I hate to say it like this, but fanboys to the point that they're saying, defend Kevin at all costs. He's a grown-ass man. He can defend himself. He's doing a damn good job of it without a lot of help. Or Kevin Samuels is doing the Lord's work. Okay, he's doing manhood's work, or mankind's work. I'll give him that. But the Lord's work?
I'm Michael Jordan. Stop it. Get some help.
Also, a lot of guys who are just, I don't know if you think Kevin Samuels is going to fight your gender war, but I hate to say it, but you're going to have to fight your own gender war. And that's by either checking these women yourself the way he's doing it, or getting up, looking towards the other way, walking towards the other way, and not looking back. And I get it. A lot of guys are afraid to do that. It may be because of South Side, South Central, Southeast syndrome, where just like Stockholm syndrome, a lot of individuals ended up becoming sympathizers of their captors. A lot of you all are facing the same thing, and where a lot of you are becoming somewhat sympathetic of what you see as your hostage individual. I don't know. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's because you genuinely love the BW, which I'm not letting you all have the excuse, because there is an entire world of BWs out there who have the shape, who have the thickness, which, by the way, I'm not talking about the thickness of today. Thickness of today, that's in social programming BS to basically push down black men's throats to say that we don't deserve any better. And I can make an entire video about that on its own. But I'm talking about the genuine, slightly thick, whatever. You can find that outside of the United States with more cooperation and submission. And yes, less the cost. Even with the airplane, all that kind of stuff. Look, whatever. Look. Anyway, I know a lot of you guys are definitely afraid to, step out the race, because from what I hear with a lot of these guys and how they still, to this very day, put on pedestals non-BWs, particularly in the U.S., you guys don't know what time it is, man. It just goes to show you guys don't know what time it is. But nonetheless, as a person who has been on the other side for years, I can tell you that my blood pressure is definitely lower. My stress levels are definitely lower. And yes, it may look boring. It may boring. He boring, though. He boring. He got no swag. Well, guess what? A lot of you guys have been deemed swagless just as much as I have been. I know in the 2000s, you're quoting raps and do snapbacks, all that work. All that work, I get it. I didn't do it. And a lot of you guys probably would have ended up trying to square me off just to show off to your little friends and your dad, which you're trying to impress at the time, in which I would have had to check you, but that's a whole nother story for another day. But now look at you. Look at you guys. You need one man who, half of you, this time 2 years ago, questioned his sexuality, and the other half questioned his tactics. But now he's St. Kevin. He's nah. Come on. No, don't pull that on me. I know better, and you know better. But it's all good, because we're all here to get better. So, as far as that's concerned, when it comes to hopping to the other side of the fence, I'm telling you this. You don't have to have the swag of an old block dope boy. And yes, on the other side of the fence, there are decent American BWs. They are few and far in between, and to be honest, a lot of them are just as tired of you as you are of them. So a lot of them might be swirlers, but guess what? At the very least, they're doing it instead of bragging about it like these online swirlers. Anyway, I don't get started on the online swirlers, the cap and swirlers, the cappers, swirl cappers. There you go. Forget snow cappers, swirl cappers. Yeah, and if you say that, you better give me credit. Nonetheless, just do one of those two things. If you really want to honor Kevin Samuels, if you really want to take his message mainstream, if you really consider yourself a disciple of the school of high value, then take one of those two things and run with it yourself. No snitching, just saying. No snitching, just saying. I'm not going to say who. I'm not gonna, you know who you are. Consider this lesson complete. You all have a good one.